Welcome to the Blab Entertainment Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to showcasing the imaginary process of the film, television, and music industry by interviewing the hot young stars of today. On today's show, we chatted exclusively over the phone with starlet 16-year-old Aubrey Miller, who plays Hannah on the hit Amazon show Just Add Magic. In this episode, Aubrey dishes on her audition process for the role of Hannah, going vegan, and dancing like a pro in her amazing music video, Electrified.
Tomorrow, auditions will be held for Murder Masquerade.
I'm trying out for the role of the inspector.
She's always wanted to be a detective.
Coincidence? I don't believe in coincidence.
How long are you gonna be talking with that accent? The book. It's gone.
Someone stole the book?
Who would steal the cookbook?
Someone who knows it's magical.
Someone we don't know is doing magic.
We need to find them. There are other protectors out there. They could be involved.
An undercover mission. Snoop around and see if no one else using magic.
We're all in danger.
Livonian, Elysian, Morbium.
Are you speaking English?
Mama P doesn't remember magic.
Well, first off, I just want to say Happy Valentine's Day as we're recording this podcast.
Thank you. To you as well.
Yeah. Are you planning on doing anything special today with the holiday? And do you have like a secret crush you'd like to mention?
No, I just enjoy, celebrating the love of a lot of things around me. And I enjoy just being with my family. I mean, they're the ones that I, love the most. So yeah, that's kind of just what I do today is I hang out with my family and just celebrate a lot of love in this world. Cool.
Oh, that's really nice. That's really cool. So yeah, let's. I'd like to rewind and just take it back to the beginning of your career, because for a lot of people who don't know, you're currently 16 years old and you're currently starring in the hit Amazon series Just Add Magic. But before all that, you actually had some pretty good credits to your name. You were on the Fresh Beat Band that was on Nick Jr. and one of my favorite shows, Californication. But I'm really interested. How did you get started acting?
So I've always been a dancer. So dance has always kind of been my thing, a passion of mine, something that I have always loved to do. So I originally came to LA to further my dance career and, get better training and continue to grow as a dancer. So I got an agency for dance and ended up going out on an audition for the Fresh Beat Band as a dancer. And I booked it as a dancer, which was really cool. And once I got on set, they started to give me lines and they started creating more of a character for me. And so I ended up evolving into the acting world through that show. And I ended up falling in love with the overall atmosphere of being on set and of acting and of getting this full experience. So from there, it kind of just took off. My love for it continued to grow. And then I started, looking into other avenues for acting and got an agency in that. And, it's kind of all gone from there.
That's really cool. Yeah, because I was going to ask about your dancing because you do some pretty fantastic music videos.
Thank you.
Yeah, one of my favorites, Electrified, from a few years ago. Yeah, which is a fantastic music video. How long does it take to put together one of those music videos in terms of like the choreography?
It really varies. I have a really, really awesome team behind me, I will say. So they definitely help me out through everything to kind of make the process, speed up so I can get good content out for everybody. If I'm doing an original song, then it takes a little bit more time because then we have to sit down and do the lyrics and, the composing and kind of create the whole song before we can even get into choreography and video ideas. For something like Electrified, since it was a cover, I discovered the song. I really fell in love with it, and I thought it matched my voice well at the time. And I felt the need to want to post it, and I felt inspired to create a fun video for it. So after I worked on the song and got it recorded, then we went into a rehearsal process where I got an amazing choreographer, and I gathered my dancers and we kind of would just rehearse and she teaches the choreography, and we perfect it. And then, it comes down to finding a location and figuring out what we want to do for the actual video. And then once you get, your inspiration boards up and you have a theme and everything like that, then you go film it, and then you edit, and then it goes up. It's a process, but it's worth it.
It's quite a process, but once the result is done, I'm sure your fans are extremely happy, because that is just one amazing video.
Thank you.
So let's go back to Just Add Magic for a minute. Let's take it back. For people who don't know, it's a book based on Cindy Callahan, who wrote a book about all these different magic themes going on. Can you tell us about how you prepare for the role of Hannah, and take us through the audition process?
Sure. So I originally auditioned for a different Amazon show, and I made it to testing, which is like the final step before you book the role. And I went into the room, and I was there with all the producers and the directors, and they said, "Hey, we think you're great, but we think that you fit this character on this other show we're creating so perfectly that we want you to play her." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So basically, I went straight to testing for Just Add Magic as Hannah. And I got to do a chemistry read with the other two girls, and I did mix and matches with other actors as well. But ultimately, me and my two co-stars, Abby and Olivia, who booked it, we had this like instant connection with our characters and each other when we were at that testing, which was really cool. We all just instantly clicked. So after that, I booked the role, and we kind of just went from there. And it was cool because I have so much in common with my character Hannah that it's very easy for me to get into my role, because she's kind of like an exaggerated version of certain parts of myself, which is really cool. And it was also awesome because the writers kind of got to pull from who I am in certain ways. Like, I'm a huge germaphobe, so they got to play with that with my character, which was really fun. So I was like, "Hey, I relate to this." So they were like, "Awesome, let's exaggerate it." So we got to do stuff like that, which was really awesome. Plus, I got to incorporate like my love of music and dance by like taking piano lessons with Miss Silvers, or by doing the singing episode. And when I got to have my bedroom on the show, the creator came up to me and said, "What would you imagine Hannah's room to look like?" So I got to sit down and describe to them what I would picture her room as. And they also took like my personal point shoes and ballet bar and kind of put a little bit of myself into my character, which was really fun. So I've had a lot of, I've gotten to work with people on the show a lot to really establish this character, because she is so much like me. And it's been a really awesome ride. So I've loved playing Hannah, and I love playing Hannah, and she's great.
We love the show, and we hope it goes on for many more seasons. And that's a really cool fact. I didn't know that you were actually in those scenes. You actually play the piano.
Yeah.
So yeah, Just on Magic, again, it's a fun mix between cooking and magic. But I'm interested in, if you did have a cookbook in real life and you're trying to make recipes, would you go for it, or would you be too scared?
I would be a little skeptical, not gonna lie. But I think it would really depend on what the recipe is. Like, we have a spell called the Healing Hazelnut Tart. If I saw that in a cookbook, I would be like, you know what? I want to just try this. Like, if it works, then there's something so special here. If it doesn't, then, it doesn't. But if it was something like that I could see such a change in and see such good use for, I would absolutely go for it. If it was something like the Shut 'em Up shortcake, I think I would be a little bit more skeptical, because I'm like, ooh, I don't know what's going to happen here. But if it was something that could ultimately solve a problem or help people, I would absolutely go for it.
Cool. Well, that actually brings me into another question, which is that you're actually a vegan, because and for an animal activist too. And one of our friends at Blab Entertainment is Molly Jackson. I'm sure you're familiar with, from Andy Mack.
Absolutely. She's a good friend of mine.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we interviewed her a couple months ago. She's fantastic. She's also a vegan. I'm wondering, can you tell us what made you become a vegan?
Sure. So I was kind of birthed into being a vegan almost. I've been a vegetarian my whole entire life. So I've never had a piece of meat in my life. And it's been wonderful. I've never had milk or done anything like that. And I then kind of evolved into ultimately being a vegan just over the last couple of years. And it's something that I am not only doing for myself, for my health, and for my overall well-being, but I do it for the animals as well. I've always done it for the animals as well. It, I'm a very sentimental and sensitive person, so when I see harm towards other living beings, it just breaks my heart. So, I don't want to put any animals in harm in the making of my meal, you know what I mean? So, and there's so many absolutely amazing and wonderful dishes that you can make out of the beautiful fruits and vegetables that God has prepared for us on this earth. It's absolutely amazing what you can do with, a grain or a seed or a plant. So I really absolutely love being a vegan, and I feel so good when I, do it as just in my health state of mind and doing it for the animals as well. It's a great feeling. I love it.
That's really great. A portion of our staff here is also vegan, and so am I
That's awesome.
because I don't like the consumption of animals either. So that's really great
No,
that you're doing that, and I hope you and Molly and everyone else can continue to advocate for the animals. That's really great.
absolutely. Very close to my heart, so I love being able to share that message.
So I'm interested because I mentioned we interviewed Abby Dontley last year, right after the premiere of season two, the first half, and she told us she was living a pretty normal life at that point. But I'm interested now since the show's taken off like a rocket. I mean, how has your life changed since the show has really taken off? Can you go out in public, or like can you walk down Hollywood Boulevard, or are people asking for autographs and things like that?
I think it helps being in an environment that is so industry based. My city is very, like I said, very industry based. So it does help in that situation. But overall, I mean, my family keeps me very grounded, and I'm very grounded in my faith. So I'm not somebody who changes because, I'm on something or because I have a name. I'm very true to who I am, and I would never become something else just because I may have a recognizable face. But I have definitely been approached before, and I love it. I think it's really wonderful when I get to meet the people that allow me to do what I love. So it's really fun meeting fans that I get the opportunity to. But overall, yeah, I don't change for my job, but when I do get those opportunities to be approached and to interact with fans, it's a really awesome time.
Oh, that's great that you're so well grounded because I think that's something that all actors should really aspire to, even when they reach that certain level of fame, to not forget where they came from and to be humble, which is great.
Thank you.
Can you tell us about the new season of Just Add Magic and how your character has evolved over time?
Sure. So this is a really fun season. It's nothing like we've ever done before, and we're getting such an amazing response from it. It's kind of a whodunit, kind of a murder mystery type vibe behind it, and every episode leaves you wanting to know who did it. So even as I was reading the script, I would say, oh, I think it's this person. No, wait, I think it's this person. And then ultimately, the last episode, we find out who it is. And my character has kind of really, really evolved from season one to now, just getting more comfortable with the magic and willing to dive into the mystery more than she was the first time. She still is definitely skeptical and wants to read through every last detail before jumping into it. But I think having her friends by her side gives her that comfort to know that whatever happens, we're going to get through this together. And that kind of shows throughout this next season because so much is happening in town that we kind of just have to rely on each other to know that we're going to solve this.
Oh, that's fantastic, and we're really hoping for a pull in for another season. It's one of the things I just love about the show that
Yeah.
makes it so addicting is each episode follows each episode. So when you watch one, you have to see the next one, and then you're like, oh, when's the next one coming out? So
Yeah, it's really
that's
fun.
what makes one of the things that makes the show so great. It is. Oh, it seems like such a blast. I would have loved to visit the set.
Yeah.
At We Blab Entertainment, we always ask all our actors, what advice would you give teens looking to break into acting? Do you have any advice of and what they should do?
Well, first of all, I would start off by getting involved in school theater or maybe something local if there's a local acting class or local theater that you can get involved in just to get you comfortable in front of people and in an environment where you're constantly learning new scripts and your craft. But I would always say make sure you love it so much because it is such a commitment and something so much fun and exciting. But it's also a lot of work. So make sure that it's something that you absolutely love and you can, tell your parents from there and just get involved with how you can.
Great advice. Great advice. I'm sure all our fans will take that to heart. Can you tell us where we can find you on social media? Because we love your social media and we love following you and seeing all your stories.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you can follow me on my Instagram at official Aubrey Miller, on my Twitter at Aubrey K. Miller. My YouTube is just my name, Aubrey Miller. And what other social media platforms do I have? I think that's about it. I have a Musical.ly too, which I post on every now and then. That one's also Aubrey K. Miller, if you're a music fan. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much, Aubrey, for coming on the We Blab Entertainment podcast. We are
Thank you so
excited
much.
to have you. Thank you so much, and we wish you much success
Yeah, thank you.
in your career, and hope we see another season of Just Add Magic. All right, bye. Well, that wraps up this episode of the We Blab Entertainment podcast. We would like to thank our fantastic guest this week, Aubrey Miller, for coming on the show, and the wonderful team at Icon PR for setting up the interview. Be sure to visit our website at weblabentertainment.com for all the latest interviews and news from today's hot young stars. Till next time, boys and girls, we're out. Peace.